So if one's going to run a campaign as an independent, then one has to step back from the whole project and look at the history, the environment, and the country as a whole, and ask ourselves, what has gone before us? Well, we know George Washington was the first independent ever elected to the American presidency. And we know that between George Washington and Robert Quigley, there have been 26 attempts in American history. I mean, we're talking about real attempts. I mean, there are 2,000 people that try to run for president every 4 years, but we're talking about people that had really good chances of making it into the White House, or at least decent chances of making it into the White House. So there have been 26 of those folks in American history. So if one were to just put on your bookmaker's hat, your odds maker's hat, and you were to look at this and put gambling odds out, like, we're from Kentucky, we know the Kentucky Derby, we know Churchill Downs, so we're probably, let's just do the round numbers for good conversation's sake. If we look at history, we're probably 90 to 1, maybe even 100 to 1 based upon history. But the last winner of the Kentucky Derby, which was just a few months ago, was actually running at 90 to 1. When the gates opened, his odds were 90 to 1, and that horse won the race. Won the race handily as well. So it does in fact happen. So in a sense, that when you hear me talking about in those videos, the independence candidate being a long shot, then that's the idea. I mean, obviously based upon observable, hard, in fact, historical numbers, then that's what the numbers tell us. Okay, fine, but that's not the end of the story. The reality is, we know from polling in the last month, 85% of Americans hate Democrats, they hate Republicans. 94% of registered Democrats do not want Biden to run. 60% of registered Republicans want to see traitor Trump in jail. Both of these parties are essentially going to run popularity contests throughout the primaries. They're not going to be focusing on the issues like we are. They're all going to be pandering to entrenched, captured voters on the left and the right. They're going to waste hundreds of millions of dollars in trying to figure out who the most popular person is. Normally, the way the custom works, the guy who's in the White House, his party automatically stands behind him to run a second time, even though they all see that Biden's going to lose. But ultimately, that will most likely be the result. The Republicans have to deal with the whole Trump deal. But even if he winds up in jail, which is very likely before we get to the White House, then they're still going to run this popularity contest. But it's a mess. The independents are going to approach this from a very different point of view. While they're trying to figure out who the cutest smile is, we're going to be running around the country talking to all of the voters, using the theaters, using our comedians, using our entertainment tools to make contact with most, if not all, of the 340 million Americans. Now, obviously, the kids can't vote, but that's okay, because we're still going to try to, at least metaphorically, touch everybody, shake their hand, and let them know that we're on their side. So it's going to be a lot of days away from home. Our schedule is going to be Wednesday to Saturday. We're going to be on the road. We are going to use what's called an entertainment tour bus. It will be painted. We're on the side. It will say, Independence Party, Robert Quigley for president. We'll be driving up and down the interstate. These tour buses have beds in them. They have a couple of lounges, a kitchen, bathroom, shower, and you're just basically living on the interstate, going city to city to city. We've got a Swiss airplane manufacturer. They make they're called Pilatus, and they make an airplane that they designate as the PC-24. It holds between 4 and 10 passengers. It's a small jet airplane. They've made one of their jets available to us at a price, of course, but not some outrageous price, for the 2 years of the campaign. And then, of course, the commercial airlines have got plenty of seats as long as we don't get bumped. Which we're going to have to fix that problem too when we get to the White House, because the airline industry as a whole seems to have problems with pilots and booking and overbooking. So we got a mess there. But essentially what it boils down to is, between Hollywood types of entertainment products, between modern social media types of communication products, and then old style campaign stump speeches. But we're going to do that a little bit differently, because we're going to mix it up with the comedian show. And we're going to reach out all across America, and we're going to spend the 2 years, our team, and we are going to make the case. Basically, we're going to prove the case like we would in a court of law. And as everyone knows, I'm trained as a lawyer. We will make the case to the American people. The American people are the judges, they're the jury, they are the voters, they are the decision makers, and we will relentlessly make this case until the polls close on November 4th, 2024. So that's how this time the independents are going to win this election, and then in the process we're going to establish the party. Hopefully we will put House of Representatives members in office. Hopefully we'll put some Senate members in office, and we're setting something up that will last long after I'm dead and gone. I'm sure of it.